Hello and welcome to the Winning Agenda's coverage of Twilight struggle matches. My name's Jessemarshall and I'm here with another match against Barbafari. So we'll see what we get on the bid. This one looks like we're playing 90 minutes and with 2 USSR as usual. See what happens. Hope that you are having a wonderful day wherever you are. Alright, so we are going to be USSR, that's very nice. Not a bad hand, having defectors is always nice. Because it means that we don't need to worry about our headlines being disrupted. Just go with the usual setup. There's nothing here that makes me want to do anything differently. Vietnam on turn 1 is possibly a little on the risky side. We do have duck and cover, meaning that we can take 2 coups, or rather take DEFCON down 2 points. So for that reason, Vietnam may not be so bad, and then duck and cover AR1. We don't have any way to to attack Europe particularly well. In this hand, we do have NASA, which would be helpful if they headlined Middle East scoring, but I think that getting into Thailand and being able to make maximum use of Vietnam revolt's extra influence, given we have a slightly lower ops hand, is probably pretty nice here, especially since we can prevent ourselves from being couped by having duck and cover. So I'm pretty happy to go with that at the start. Since they headlined so fast in a 90-minute game, I did think that it was kind of likely they had Middle East scoring there, but I still think from a tempo point of view, this is fine. So we'll trigger the duck and cover first, play this properly, and then we'll coup Iran. Kicking them out, always nice, meaning that they've got to coup Iraq or give us another coup here. If they coup us out of Iraq, that's a little annoying, but we still have the path back into this region through Afghanistan, so this puts us in a reasonably good position, even if they are successful in kicking us out with a really good roll. So they don't do that, they go with some influence spread, and that's totally fine. So we'll just head into Thailand here, I think. In fact, I think we'll just take it with 2 from Romanian. Really just make maximum use of our ops here. So that was a good play from them, putting pressure on 2 relevant areas, but thankfully our tempo play did give us the jump on them by moving on. Into Vietnam and getting DEFCON down at the same time by 2 points, or rather by 2. So it'll be interesting to see where they go here with Suez. They may take France, or they may put one in Iraq, try and threaten to move back across the Middle East. They may put one in Lebanon as well for presence, but it's a little less important now that the scoring's already out of the way. They might also think we have Asia scoring, so they may be in a little bit of a rush to try and even up the country count here as well. We're going to overprotect Thailand just to prevent any AR7 shenanigans. And we may even take Malaysia, although probably not. Okay, so they've prioritized the UK, that's interesting. Possibly looking at trying to set up or emphasize the possibility of Europe domination if they can get France here with Suez out of the way. It's a little less urgent for us to keep spreading in Southeast Asia now. So we might just save the NASA to do that at the end. And in the meantime, I think we may start attacking Europe a little, since that's going to be a relevant zone in the next couple of turns. We'll also set up a little bit into this important region here to give ourselves access to Pakistan. We would have to play NORAD to take France here, but they don't know that, firstly, and secondly, that may indeed be worth it. So we force them into a situation of firstly giving us VPs and mill-ups, which is nice, but also playing into France when de Gaulle is still alive, which makes it particularly nice for us. So we'll put one there, just because it's nice to have access to this side of Europe. You know, we don't want to get Truman doctrined out, so we don't want to end up in too much of a fight there, but having that one there's not too bad. And then I think we'll go into South Korea to really step up the pressure in Asia. With that out of the way, I'm a little more tempted to move into Pakistan, but we can still do that next turn. There's nothing preventing that. So with two ARs left, we have the option to space NORAD now to try and get the VPs, which I am pretty keen on doing actually. Fail, that's really sad, but then AR6 we're going to use NASA to beef up Thailand and move into Laos as well. So all in all, I mean, it will cost us a total of 2 ops to overtake Thailand and have Laos, so it's a pretty good outcome. They may have Europe scoring final AR, but they may not. And next headline, we're going to have a defectors free headline again. We can even potentially hold defectors into turn 3. They have got Europe scoring, that's unfortunate. So we've got Red Scare blockade. So we're going to be doing that since we know there's no defectors. We're also going to be free to trigger independent reds this turn, which is lovely. They may have Asia scoring here. Hopefully they do, because that means it's going to get scored in the early war. But even despite that, we're not going to be headlining Cambridge 5. So sad times that the space race did not go our way. So I always really like getting those first 2 points on the board, and they've scored 2 regions for a significant amount of points here. So this has been definitely a very good early war for them, but I feel like we're in a reasonable spot on the board, all things considered. So, since we don't have Truman and they might, we're just going to, and Asia's the only unscored region. We're not going to play into Asia. We're going to coup first, and then we're going to play into Asia. So we're going to, I think, coup Panama with independent reds. Or do we want to coup South Korea with a slightly higher ops card? I think I just prefer coup Panama. It's fine. So they've still got a coup, which is they've still got a coup available, which is why I haven't played into Iran because DEFCON hasn't gone down to 2, and I don't think I'm desperate to take it down right now. Whoa, okay, interesting. They must have a very bad hand. Let's have a look. I think we will take one from Poland, and we'll go. Like that. They may coup on one of these battlegrounds here and get lucky, but they're coming with a 2-ops card, so we'll see how they roll. And we still we'll get the coup on turn 3 to coup them back, so it's not too bad, hopefully, because we should be able to spread more quickly than them anyway.
Our efforts are made in the belief that men and nations can cooperate.
Okay, so that worked
and
out
that
quite
there
well.
are no international problems which men of goodwill cannot
Quite
solve
thankful
or
for that.
adjust.
Since, you know, Middle East scoring is going to be coming around again, we'll hold off on our D-style spreads a little for now, but I am going to put some in there for the purposes of not getting realigned out randomly. So I think that'll probably do for this turn, and then we'll spend the rest of our time filling up some of these battlegrounds around here. So they could have test ban or US-Japan Pact. I think those are, yeah, so there are no 4-ops played on turn 1. So there are still plenty to come. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I think, you know, odds are that they do have another 4-ops card to discard with to our blockade here, but we're still putting pressure on them and forcing them to hold on to one of them for now. So it was not lost. Okay. So I think we'll give the Marshall Plan in order to... I just am not sure about that. Do they have the ops to be able to contest us to a sufficient extent that we can't just coup them out of Iran next turn? I don't really think so, but we do want to take Iran anyway. And this will give us the opportunity. It's going to make it really difficult for us to stave things off in Europe. But I think that's okay. Given our position elsewhere on the board, it'd be nice to move into Algeria. We didn't go into Southern Africa, chose to go into Mexico instead with one of the D-style influence, just because, mainly because Decol's out there as well, but they may have D-style and Decol, which may be why they chose to play D-style. I mean, I think that's really the only time that you would choose to play D-style as the USA. Even then, possibly could have spaced it, because they're on a red scare, so I can't space Decol, obviously. Okay, so choosing to eat the De Gaulle, and De Gaulle obviously also so much more punishing when our opponent is under red scare. So this is probably our spot to blockade.
Sobre la cuestión acerca de si la lucha armada es el único camino
to force the decol out, if like flush the decol out if they do have it, because they'd put them down to 2 cards in hand.
Por lo menos en las condiciones de nuestro país no había otro camino.
So we'll see. Okay. Choose to allow the blockade to fire, presumably to hold on to the decol. Very interesting. So Truman probably still in hand there for them as well. So it could well be Truman decol in hand. So query here whether we space the Formosan to hold the defectors. I think we probably do. We're not in a particularly urgent rush for ops anywhere. And I don't really want to give them Formosan. Yeah. Dat space race. Not quite getting there, but that's okay. So we're in a decent spot. NASA's still on the deck. Let's hope this goes off. Nice. That is really, really good. That's makes up for some of the other rolls that haven't gone particularly well. We've won both the Arab-Israeli War, which didn't do anything other than the VPs, and now Korean War, which was nice. So a decent hand. You know, we knew that Asia scoring was coming. It's unfortunate we're only going to get it once, but we're sitting on a more than reasonable position in Asia. We know that we can't get defectors. None of our cards give us particularly much tempo here. So I do think we probably just do this now. I mean, they could have the war, but it's a 6, so yeah, I'm happy to do it. And we know that they've got Truman now. It may be that they were holding it last turn, but we know they've got Truman and Decol in hand. They had one of them, I think, at the end of last turn, but we don't know which one they did have.
The challenge of the 20th century is the challenge of human relations and not of impersonal natural forces.
All right. Special relationship ties up France for them, so it's not too bad a headline. Coups for us, it's one of those ones where it's Iraq or South Africa. Probably South Africa, just with a 1-up, I think. Kicking them out of Iraq is nice, but kicking them out of South Africa also nice. Yeah, let's go ahead and actually we'll do a 2-up probably just to give ourselves the mill-ups. Nice. So an okay spot, although we're going to be giving up 5 VPs in Europe here, which is a little bit of a pain. Unless we happen to draw the scoring card, or we can keep them off the Mediterranean countries whilst drawing Brush War. Those are pretty much the only 2 ways we have back in, since Suez and De Gaulle are both out of the way, plus blockade. We force them to dedicate quite a few resources there while solidifying our position elsewhere on the map. And I think this turn is going to be all about solidifying that position. Okay, so look, if they have Europe scoring, so be it. For us, I think it's going to be spreading to the Middle East and locking up some of these countries here. So we have presence in Central America. We'll start taking Egypt, Libya, and locking up the rest of these South American countries, I think, in the next few ARs. That is the plan in any way. Okay, so they've given up the Middle East, so that becomes less of a priority for us. And instead, we're going to probably take the event on Fidel here, I think, considering where things are at on the board. And we'll just go ahead and, remembering that we have containment last AR, I think we still want to go ahead and do this. I do like overprotecting these regions in these sorts of situations as much as possible, just for Voice of America. So we're probably still going to do that. Middle East, yeah, it's nice to, take some more of these countries for the purposes of OPEC, but, Egypt is not a great place to be going as going to the mid-war as the Soviets because of Sadat and Camp David Accords. So I think these are some more useful areas for us to place some influence. So now I think we're in a safe enough position there where we can just space. Got the VP there at last. So look, they got the jump on us, I think, on turn 1 in terms of VPs, but we certainly stabilized in terms of board position. And this has played out pretty well for us. I probably want to dump this Romanian this turn and maybe hold the Fidel just because it's an extra op. Yeah. And like it's a fine headline if we really want to do it. So let's use this to... no, first priority is the control. I mean, we're going to do it anyway next AR with containment, but just in case we need to chuck those containment influence somewhere else as a priority, we'll just be a bit careful. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously containment, never ideal to give them any AR's worth of extra influence, but I think getting rid of containment as the Soviets early in the game is nice because it coming back later can just be a real huge issue. Please 5 or less. Thank you. I mean, the mill ops are still quite relevant for them here, so totally fine play in my view. Next priority, probably India's okay to shore things up. The other option is to go into Saharan states. They've got, an extra op here, but that does give them the opportunity to spread into Nigeria next turn if we don't coup them, and then we coup an AR1, so I don't love it. We are going to have to be cooing Iraq here, just a bit of a pain, but I mean, that's a luxury if they don't have any battlegrounds in any mid-war regions. I think we'll just go into India. Could have overprotected Brazil as well. Possibly more important to do that actually, to hold on to these South American battlegrounds as much as possible. I don't mind the thought of playing into Uruguay at some point because it just makes the coup for them on Brazil or Argentina so much less attractive. Venezuela always vulnerable to brush wars as well. Okay, so giving us Libya is okay here, but now our brush war on Italy is just so much worse as well. It's important to know. South African unrest into Africa scoring at some point early on is going to be nice. Quagmire's nice. Our hand's very good here, I think. Question is what to start with. Since we have Africa scoring, I think we can push for a really advantageous score. It may be... I do quite like Quagmire for the double AR, but we're going to want to use... one of them to probably do this anyway, so I think we'll start off with this. Okay. So we'll go like... Question is, do we just go to Botswana and then score for domination? No, I don't think so. Maybe we do, since we're red scared. I don't mind a cheeky 5 VPs here. But it does give them the coup. No, I don't think we can do that. We'll do it this way. They can coup into Botswana for presence if they're really desperate. Maybe we event Cuban Missile Crisis here.
No hay otro camino que la lucha armada. Y esa parece ser la situación también en muchos otros países.
They could just remove from West Germany though. That's okay.
África.
Yeah, I think I do like that. I'm not super keen on couing Iraq. We miss out on Milops, but I think protecting or making non-battleground coups just that little more disadvantageous this turn might actually be worthwhile. They are still holding Truman, I think, which is interesting to note. Okay, we'll give them Cultural Revolution. So we get Missile Envy into Zaire. Chances are as well that they have a reasonable blue hand here, so we need to be aware of that too. Almost certainly going to be eventing Fidel this turn now. Okay. Why are we still getting 2 influence? I thought we got red scared. Okay, it just said 2 influence, but it actually meant 1. Fair enough. So when we were deciding on our headline, we didn't know we were going to get red scared. Maybe we should have just taken the South African unrest into Africa scoring guarantee, but I think it's just not worth giving ourselves the opportunity to get cooed. We'll just go Austria. Could have gone Bulgaria for Turkey access, but I just think we're not going to spend ops fighting this. We're just going to take that on the chin and try and focus on these mid-war areas. Okay, so they want to try and coup us out of Botswana now. So we're going to try and quagmire them, I think. Even though it's our only 3-op, like, we're still in a position to dominate, and if we can get a cheeky extra AR, it's just going to be great. So we'll try for it. Got lucky, and now we get to score it for Dom. Even if it's 1 victory point less than before, we did deny the coup by doing this, so I'm feeling okay about it. So that's 2 very good red cards that they got rid of there. Losing the tempo is obviously going to be really frustrating for them, but yeah, they were able to deal with those. Obviously they could have dealt with them on the space race, but that also puts them up to the point where they can't do 2-ops Kazimo. Alright, so this is, for those of you who've been watching along with my videos, this is very interesting. This is happening again. I was on the other side of this a couple of games ago. It's not a lot of fun. It doesn't feel great. Didn't quite last as long as the other one, but I'm kind of glad because it would have been pretty disgusting if that happened again, I have to say. I think we're happy to have Sadat come along because we'll do it the other way around, because we kind of want a coup target at this point. We've got Angola as well, but Algeria, God. It's Algeria. My Angola-Algeria mix-ups are just absolutely terrible. Yeah, I think we'll do that, and we can coup Egypt at some point if they want to put influence there. Fine with me, really, I think. Lone Gunman might be the headline next turn, but we'll see. Okay, yep, bear trap. Fair enough. Let's hope that it doesn't go as well for them as it did for us. Okay. So Brezhnev Doctrine would be okay. Headlining Lone Gunman also I don't mind here because it gives us some idea of where the difficulties are coming. Could headline CA scoring just to get the points in the bag. It's going to be completely negated by Europe scoring, so the scoring cards in our hand this turn are a wash. Lone Gunman at least preserves our South America domination, so I think it's a little better than doing the scoring card now. Okay, so they're trying to Truman us out. Interesting. I'm not going to let them Truman us. And I'm going to give them the coup. Because that's just worth too many BBs. Thankful that that happened because otherwise they could have forced the Truman issue. But as it is, we got a little bit lucky. Or rather, didn't get as unlucky as them. Okay, they can totally have that if they want. They did not want it. So we're going to give them US-Japan. We're going to try and hold Brezhnev Doctrine. Place one. We know they've got OPEC. We know they're probably going to space it. They're probably going to space it first. What else did they have in terms of one-ops? You got Truman, Olympic Games, Willy Brandt, One Small Step, Arab Israeli. Okay. So they don't really want to play Arab Israeli here to give us the mill-ups. But I think do we want the domination? 2 VPs worth it here? I think so, probably. Also gives us the guaranteed mill-ups later on. And I think we'll take the extra VP plus the locking down the Middle East a little further. So we're only one ahead in Southeast. Might be worth taking Burma and India, but we haven't exactly got a surplus of ups this turn, so we might not do that. Interesting. I mean, it's okay, I guess. Like, we can just go back there again. We're going to play our man in Tehran this turn. Do do we want to set up anything else, or do we? Yeah, I think we want to overprotect Poland because we've got this EU coming, and they know we've got Europe scoring, so we don't want to randomly just get griefed on that. It's going to be really sad if they get rid of South America scoring on this, but I just don't think.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do
maybe that
for
was too
your
risky. Perhaps it was better to space our men into around there and just use the summit. It is important to overprotect Poland at some point in this turn, but also they haven't really got the ability to condense our ARs that much. Okay. So we eventually lost it, but they've spent quite a few ops doing that. Okay. We'll pop this now and just take the 5. So as we said earlier, we're going to be going back to that position at the end of the turn because Europe scoring is going to come out again. And there's that space race. So given what else they have in hand, I don't think we need to really rush to deny them the second space. Let's have a look. So the Arab Israeli war would be nice. Willy Brandt's kind of inconsequential. Muslim Revolution, we'd kind of like them not to space that, I guess, but it's not a huge deal for them at this point. I think we'd probably prefer to have the 3 ops at this point from the EU. Could have tried to grief them in France, but they've got Truman Doctrine, so it's just a little bit too difficult to do that, and would just mean that we would lose. Lose ops. And lose access. So they got Truman, Willy, Arab Israeli, and Muslim Revolution. So Willy's happening. And where's he going? Israel, Egypt, okay. So I guess that means that they're holding Muslim Revolution. Which means we might get, they might be, yeah, preparing for the war, I guess, here. Okay. So we'll trigger EU. So we're putting 1 in Poland because they're just holding this Truman Doctrine annoyingly.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man
and then I
on the
think we'll
moon and
take
returning
Uruguay
in
because
safely
we
to the
really
Earth.
want to solidify this position in South America. And it just makes it quite hard to get in. I mean, Junta 2 in Brazil to coup Uruguay successfully does work, or the other way around, 2 in Uruguay, coup Brazil successfully, but it's still a challenging one for them. Okay, so they get there with the spacing. And now we can, because we know that they've got the war and Truman Doctrine here. So let's, I think next priority is probably shoring up this area plus the VP that we can get from Burma. We know that the war's not coming back particularly soon, and OPEC's already out of the deck. So let's go with one of these. I don't think we need to overprotect Pakistan or South Korea really at this point. Usuri is still around for them to snatch the China card, but Nixon's gone. So we can breathe a little bit easier on Europe now. Headline, Brezhnev looks totally fine here, I think. Space away, OAS founded, UN intervention, dark and cover, 5-year plan, something else, yeah. That's actually a really nice hand for Brezhnev, because it's giving us almost maximum value, plus allowing us to get rid of a nasty one-up card that we really didn't want to play. So I do want to space reasonably early this turn, because this is getting a little dangerous. If they can get up to a space shuttle this turn. Even them getting Eagle has landed is a big deal, with 4 turns left, or 4 discards left in the game. They've certainly leveraged the space race for maximum value, but I think that the time that they've spent doing that is reflected by our board position that we have been able to leverage into quite a few dominations. Possible that that one should have gone in Burma first, since Burma is going to be scored before India here, but it's possibly overall India's more of a priority, though with the battleground count the way it is, taking India first, probably not great either. So probably should have gone into Burma instead. I mean that because with the war, with Burma, it's obviously safer from the war, so we probably want to take it after taking Burma, just because them flipping it at this point is unnecessarily giving them something when we don't actually need to give them anything, because our position's already quite strong. It might be worth also considering really solidifying the 2 Eastern European battlegrounds over the next couple of turns, because by the time turn 8 comes around, it really is one of the only, assuming the board position stays reasonably similar and we've managed to score South America for domination, it really is one of the only ways for them back into the game to get a nice tear down this wall, Chernobyl kind of shenanigan going on and somehow dominate us in Europe. So there's no point allowing that to happen, especially with Warsaw packed out of the deck. Our opponent having a good old think. I mean, we've taken up more time than them, so probably fair enough. Salt? Okay, well that's fair enough. That's a good one to have a good old think about. Getting back Red Scare. Okay. So now we get to coup Italy, I suppose. I mean, they may have brush war, so be perfectly happy to flip it back.
Our goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right.
We probably just coup with duck and cover.
Not peace at the expense of freedom, but both peace and freedom here in this hemisphere, and we hope around the world. God willing, that goal will be achieved.
Yeah. And then they've got to coup us, presumably somewhere here at -1. I did trigger duck and cover first, didn't I? Yes, good. Whew. Oh, so sad. So many games where you're just like, oh, I can't wait for Shay to come out. I think my last one that I recorded. And sometimes he just does absolutely nothing. Alrighty then. So I want to Yep, nope. Don't need to do it. Don't need to spend that many ops. Don't really want to hold a 5-year plan, to be honest, so I'll probably use that. I haven't used it. I think the end day for the last AR. Wait, that means that leaves us with not enough. Anyway, we can use the last AR on an empty hand. I think we might UN intervention Camp David Accords here. Actually, then we can just get randomly OAS founded. If they red scare us in the middle of the turn for some reason, that would suck. Okay, we'll just use AND now then. So we'll probably take South Africa this turn, maybe Burma. Maybe try and get a couple of influence over onto those European battlegrounds as we discussed earlier. Might have the freedom to space arms race, event arms race here, although in the circumstances it's not really great when it's worth so many VPs. Okay. So we're probably going to get red scared next turn, by the looks of things as they are now. This is just not worth 3 VPs, I don't think. Just overprotect there. Take that just in case they've got that scoring. There's also a lot of open battlegrounds in the Middle East as well, but I think we're solidifying our positions in the places that matter. These are probably slightly more of a priority than these Middle East battlegrounds, but I have to closely consider that, I think. Alright, I think now I'm going to just space this so that we can more safely UN intervention this Camp David Accords. Flower power and then 5-year plan, nothing. That sounds okay. So with those ops, I think we'll go probably take Iraq, take Saudi Arabia, finish off India, and then overprotect East Germany and Poland. That's 1, 7, 8, 9. Okay, where's this going? Venezuela. Okay. Yeah, probably could have gone into Colombia and seen that coming, but that's okay. We'll just play this.
Нам посмеетесь, когда мы, знаете, обгоним вас и скажем: господа капиталисты, до свидания, наш поезд сюда идет. Пожалуйста, за нами.
So probably South America scoring here, I would have thought. South Africa is also an option. Junta and Brush War still out there, obviously. Okay, interesting. That looks okay. Kill on Egypt if we can next turn. if I do draw junta, assuming that they don't have it, I may even place in Colombia and try and realign Venezuela. I think that's okay. Interesting. May just take Israel here. No, that's really pretty greedy considering everything we discussed earlier. Let's go with 1, 2. 3, 4. Yeah, I don't love our position in Europe with tear down this wall and solidarity active, but can't have everything, unfortunately, as much as I would like to. So they got junta, which is very scary. We got OPEC, but we've lost Venezuela. We got socialist governments, but it's not doing heaps for us, and we otherwise have a handful of extremely powerful blue cards. Eep. So we're not headlining South America scoring into their junta. They know we've got South America scoring though. So I think if we headline How I Learned, they get to junta coup anyway. The only difference is that we can get a coup back, which I think is probably worth the VPs. Because if they place in Uruguay coup Argentina, for example, then we get to potentially we get to decide after knowing whether the coup, how successful the coup is and where they go, what we want DEFCON to be. I think it's not too bad altogether. We're going to be giving them 2 VPs from Alliance for Progress. We're going to be giving them the opportunity to discard an unfavorable scoring card this turn, so we just hope that they don't have Asia. So where do we want DEFCON, given what we know now? I think we want it at 3, so we get a coup. Let's have a look. What are our mill-ops options? Not many. Yeah, let's go with that. And we'll coup with the Alliance for Progress on Panama. Come on, 6. Nope. That's okay. It was worth the coup was worth a VP anyway, because we kicked him out. So we'll be spacing colonial rearguards, I think, here. Oh no, we won't, because we're red scared. So we'll be playing all of these cards. Very, very unfortunate. Okay. So really trying to grief us on Uruguay. We're just going to persist for now, because I do like those VPs. And I'm going to be really sad if we held on to all that space for so long and then don't even get to Scorphy domination. I'm going to cry about that.
Our goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right. Not peace at the expense of freedom.
Then again, hopefully if we can get through this turn, it is our... Hopefully it's our worst hand.
And we hope
it is a
around the
pretty
world,
bad one.
God willing, that goal will be achieved.
So what are they considering, I wonder? Possibly the Uruguay coup again. Eep. Do not love that. So a bad turn gets worse for us, unfortunately. So we should have known that they had that. We know they've got Usuri as well, which means that we definitely don't want to be playing the China card this turn. They also know we've got a pretty bad hand, and they know we've got scoring as well. Risky to pitch the kitchen debates there. I mean, yeah, it's okay to do it, but yeah. So very sad if we lose this. I'm very grateful for that. The question is, do we try and realign Uruguay here to protect Brazil in the long run? Or do we just take the scoring for 2? I think since we're going to be realigning for 1, I'm just going to take this, take the 2 VPs and move on. We're just so far behind in terms of what we have in hand this turn that we didn't have the power to be able to fight what they were dishing up there. Let's just take these VPs as well. So probably hold colonial rearguards, I think, and try and space that next turn. Public governments. Shoring up Angola, helpful. Definitely helpful since we'll be nuclear subsing. Finally are. Although Angola is obviously a safer bet for us anyway and a worse coup target for them given the realignments that are being threatened. So look, we lost ABM, Brush War, and Junta in the mid-war, and we still managed to keep a reasonably positive position in the mid-war battleground. So I'm pretty happy with that result. Also, our best scoring card didn't come out to turn 7 when we held control for sort of 3 turns before that. Alright. Let's trigger this, and then we may even decide to coup them out of one of the non-battlegrounds that they go into, depending on what they do. They may look to go to the Cuban region. Okay, going for Dom in Central America. So we'll just try and flip El Salvador back, I think. Nuclear subs, I'm not sure where we'll coup. I mean, a little bit, or what we'll do, rather. We might coup. Alright, that was handy. Handy that that coup did not fail. So that makes me a little bit less excited about couing Dominican Republic, and a little more excited about simply moving into Cameroon. So that if they coup us in Zaire, it's not so bad because we can realign, but also gives us adjacency for Nigeria now to be able to take it, and it's far less risky for us to get counter-couped out of Cameroon at some point because they're already in Nigeria. So I think now is the best time to be heading in there. Alright, not much we can do about that. I think we escaped that turn reasonably unscathed. Okay. Brush War, very nice. 5-year plan Europe scoring, also nice. Gonna have to deal with duck and cover. That's okay. Colonial rearguards as well. So we're probably going to have to allow colonial rearguards to go off, but that's manageable, I think, at this point. Coup, headline rather, I don't think we really want the VPs from Glasnost, and it's just obviously giving them a chance to coup. Brush War. Don't think I want to headline Brush War. Don't want to headline Arms Race. Don't really want to headline an Evil Empire either. I mean, could headline Brush War, but obviously if they've got defectors, it's not so good. And I just really want to hit Venezuela with it. I'm going to be really pissed off if it gets defectors. It's probably Camp David Accords, actually, isn't it? It's the lower ops of the cards in our hand, and doesn't really achieve that much for them. Like, I'd rather have an evil empire to play the ops with. So where shall we coup? I think probably Algeria. That's right. Yes, Algeria. Also possibly Argentina, though. So I'll think about it. Annoying how those things mess up your wonderfully curated hand. So do we coup with Glasnost or an Evil Empire? It probably depends where we coup. If it's Algeria, it's probably Glasnost for the extra coup strength. Here though, okay. They chose to take the coup. That is also fine. So I think now we Brush War Venezuela. And then look to try and set up some realigns after that. The other alternative, yeah, because I think we just don't want to give them the time to move into Colombia and force us to have another non-battleground to coup. The other option is to coup Uruguay, but I think I want to see if this brush war is successful before I think about how much to do that. Nice, that's very handy. Now, cooing Uruguay is a lot more appealing from multiple perspectives. Okay. They get Glasnost. That's very unfortunate. Because that was going to obviously be our next play. So look, I mean, they've got two good uses out of missile envy, but that was a little risky.
Thwarting the human impulse to create, to enjoy, to worship.
Soviet shoot down KAL is out there unless they have it in hand. That sucks. That really, really sucks. So, do we realign? I think maybe we go our own realignments here in Africa. Okay. So we get Zaya back. which gives us back domination. We also get a coup. Hey. They're going to coup us in Cameroon. Okay. So we'll go 2 into Zaire. And then where best to grief them, I wonder. Or to overprotect, since we're... Oh no, we're going to be...
Mr.
Yes,
Gorbachev, tear down
okay.
this wall.
So 1, 2... Oh no, it's not going to give us domination because of shuttle diplomacy. 1, 2, 3. Also considering these European battlegrounds for further influence. But look, we'll see how this colonial rearguards pans out. What it turns into. Probably would have been better to space duck and cover, I guess, as well there, because it just gives them less access. And it's hard, it just gives them fewer options to grief us when they know that we do have to space the duck and cover at some point this turn. So probably a slight mistake in sequencing. So we'll just repair these ones, I think. Yeah, I mean, we know that Brush was out of the way, so it's not too much of a big deal in terms of these countries, but we obviously want to maintain our lead in the country count as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So we might want to overprotect Vietnam here. Obviously, allowing them in there just means there's more countries for us to overprotect to protect our domination as well.
Because it does such violence to the spirit, thwarting the human impulse to create, to enjoy.
So space here, if they want to spend 3
worship.
ups flipping Vietnam, then okay. We can flip it back if we need to. I'll probably go Vietnam, Thailand, Poland.
România să pună în pericol însăși viitorul poporului și națiunii noastre independente.
And then possibly cooing Uruguay. We'll see how we go though.
Și de aceea trebuie să apărăm cu toate forțele integritatea și independența României.
That worked out very well. That's handy. I do like that. Unsure if our VP lead is going to be quite enough at this point. So still no war games. Grain sales we're going to have to deal with. Reformer. Yes is nice. Marine barracks not going to happen for us. Iran-Contra a possibility. Just to start annoying them in sort of Panama, Argentina. But I think realistically, probably just happy to take the Reformer. Where would we go though? Two in West Germany. Two in France.
General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for
One
the
each
Soviet
in.
Union and Eastern Europe,
Yeah.
if you seek
Let's do that. I mean, if we get
come here to this gate.
defectors, we get defectors. But really all we're risking is a bit of tempo. So a little annoying about Asia here. I forgot about the shuttle diplomacy removing not only a battleground country, but our total country from our country count. Which means that if they do have it, they can score it for even here. Or reasonably even, just not domination. And they've obviously got this domination hanging here as well. That's always scary. I think we'll go here just as the socialist governments come up. Which turn? 7. Okay. Oh. Without socialist governments, I just don't think it's worth putting the two in Italy. Our opponent, unfortunately, has some amazing choices here. Okay. Interesting choice. Right. So this we've now got a full-on one-ops hand. We'll trigger the event and then coup, because we're probably going to coup Libya. Or Nigeria. We'll just go Nigeria. Terrorism probably worth more than one random op. We'll hold it for a little bit later. Okay.
С праздником всех вас, дорогие товарищи! Пусть он укрепит нас в стремлении сделать все ради возрождения Родины, идти вперед по пути социалистического обновления.
Probably just play this. And then have some random realigns. do. Pretty powerful hand for them. So we can go one into Zimbabwe. If they want a coup, they can coup. But we're obviously happier to get into
Mr.
cooing wars
Gorbachev,
when we're under Red Scare
tear down this wall.
than to be giving them an opportunity to out-tempo us in other places. Possibly could have played into Saharan states there instead, but our realigns on Nigeria are no good anyway, even under Iran-Contra, given the other nearby countries. I think it's okay. Marine barracks, depending on how things go, may be good just to remove 2 from Israel. Possibly even 1 from Iraq, 1 from Israel, just to deny them their Iran adjacency completely. Even 1 Iraq, 1 Libya, and then try and coup Libya. We'll see how we go. Yep. So let's just keep wasting their time in Africa here.
The totalitarian world produces backwardness because it does such violence to the spirit, thwarting the human impulse to create, to enjoy, to worship.
Okay. Yeah, we're still scoring positively there, so I think getting rid of 1 in Libya and that is probably the way to go here. And then, if they don't actually have Africa scoring here, we can coup elsewhere instead. Couing Nigeria, not great at this point, given the fact that it is entirely surrounded. But once we've got some more ops next turn, we can coup some of the other places. Cool. 1, 2, 3 sounds fine. Yeah, so that Marine barracks worked out okay. Asia's scoring nice to control that. Yuri and Samantha, decent headline. Pershing, also decent to force them to dedicate some ops to Europe this turn. We can deprive them of 3 countries. ABM's going to be good. So all in all, a pretty good hand. 2 cards we don't really want, one of which we can space if need be. Cool. Allende also a possibility for later in the turn. Headline-wise, though, I think it's just pushing. Or do we do that later in the turn as well? Maybe we just headline Ultra James. Yeah, and if it gets defectors, it gets defectors, and we still get to do this late in the turn, which I'm pretty happy about. We also get to know what's coming.
Today I say, as long as this gate is closed, as long as this scar of a wall is permitted to stand, it is not the German question alone that remains open, but the question of freedom for all men.
So no war games again. Come on. What are you doing to me, game? Headlined Africa scoring, very interesting. Didn't want us to have a chance to grief them with that. Fair enough. Ted on this wall and Chernobyl, thankfully, we overprotected those, otherwise we would have been in big trouble. I think we get rid of Chernobyl. I think it's still probably the best card here. Maybe Indo-Pakistani War, since we have Asia. Let's go with that. If they want to tear down a wall later in the turn, that's probably okay. Lucky realigns aside. Chernobyl is a pain though, hey? Oof. They give up a lot of tempo to Chernobyl. They give up some tempo to war. Okay. Let's just go with that. Coup-wise, we'll coup with Yuri and Samantha probably on Panama. Nice. Can we break into Asia? Not really. In terms of breaking up domination, but I think the 3 VPs are going to be sufficient for us here, and it's going to re-enliven our domination for final scoring anyway. So where are they going to go? Europe still. Okay, so lucky that we've got the Pershing. So we're just going to make as much mess as we can elsewhere and hope that they don't have enough ops. You're going to have to get very lucky with realigns here. Anyway, so here we go. Alright. Do we want to try and force the issue? We can't really break control of any countries in Asia. I think we'll just take that. Do this instead. What's our best ABM target this turn? Probably Mexico. We'll just do that. Okay. So So tear down this wall. East European unrest. Is it going to be enough?
The totalitarian world produces backwardness because it does such violence to the spirit, thwarting the human impulse to create, to enjoy, to worship.
I mean, maybe getting rid of the war was greedy. Just do this. Let's do this now. Got another 2 VPs from Iran-Iraq war on a 4+.
Today,
So I'm going to try and tear down this wall. I think us on last AR, which means this pushing is going to be really useful on our last. So we'll just space solidarity. Or space grain cells. I mean, grain cells kills us. Solidarity at least doesn't. So go with that. Solidarity doesn't guarantee kill us, I should say. Yep. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. So they've got 2 more, we've got 2 more. So we'll go with 1. 2. I think 1, 2. So now they've got to fill up France in order to have any chance of winning with Europe. They've got to fill up France and overprotect West Germany. Overprotect France and West Germany. Have they got enough ops in hand? What have they got? Decol. And tear down this wall. So they're going to have to decol. No, they're going to tear down this wall now. Okay. And then repair with decol? I guess it's possible. So if they get really lucky here, then we could be in a bit of trouble. Okay, they did not get really lucky. So we will just do this. Probably. Yeah. Sounds okay. Out comes the decol. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that turns into a decent win for us. So thanks for watching. I got a little bit tense there towards the end, but thankfully we did overprotect Europe enough to deny our opponent that opportunity back into the game, even though they got 2 out of 3 cards that we were scared of on turn 10 in Tear Down This Wall and Chernobyl. Possibly got a little greedy with the Aldrich James not getting rid of the Chernobyl there and caused ourselves a bit of unnecessary angst, but that is the game. So thanks for watching. As I said, I've been Jessemarshall for the Winning Agenda. We'll be having a Stim Slack Twilight Struggle tournament coming up soon, in addition to the regular Reddit tournament games that I'm posting. So I hope you enjoy that once it gets up and running. And we'll be back with some more Twilight Struggle very soon. Thanks very much.